Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Today with us we have Bill, we have Will, we have Paul, we have Michael, we have Trayless.
All right.
And me, Larry. I forgot I was here. So
I'm just a narrator.
today we're going
Larry's
to.
a power cord guy.
He's a power cord.
I am. Today we're going to start out with the topic of travel, places we've been. We're going to start with Bill because he hasn't been anywhere. Take it away, sir.
Let's see. So I've been to 3 countries other than the United States.
Mississippi's not considered a country.
Okay.
Have you been to
counting
Mississippi?
that. I went on a Carnival cruise to Cancun. There's
So
one of our
Mexico.
sponsors.
Oh, bless
What
you,
country
Lord.
is that?
That would be Belize.
No, that's a good thing.
You got the full authentic Mexican
And
experience.
in Mexico,
Yes.
to get the authentic, I drank
It's in
Sol.
Cancun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was
that the
Senor
beer?
Frogs?
Yeah, no, at Casa de Playa, which means island for cruise ships to port.
No.
House of the Players.
Yeah, it means House of the Players.
I think
Yeah.
A house of the
I
beach.
think that's what it means in Belizean.
Yeah,
Okay.
in
You mean-
Mexican. it
Have you
means-
been there?
You
It's
mean
House of
in
the
English?
Players.
That's
Yeah.
true.
The official
So-
language of Belize is English.
So went to Cancun and had a good time. The only thing I did though was on our offshore adventure, we decided to go on a 3-decker,
3-hour
triple-decker
tour.
party boat.
Oh.
I mean, we went from a
That-
boat
that-
to a boat.
That sounds like a
boat?
shore
And then went
excursion.
to an island or a beach, and you put the wristband on and you drink all
Were there
day. And by
houses
the
on the
time we
beach?
got back, we went to a local touristy restaurant, and I decided to step outside and have a cigarette. And 2 hours later, wandered back. A couple from St. Louis found me and walked me back. And my wife was sitting at the table crying, expecting to read in the
Casa de
Cancun
Playa
Times
Times.
about the man found in the bathtub in the hotel and packed with ice with his kidneys missing. And even my world
Just his
travel.
wallet missing.
Even
I
my
wasn't
world
there.
traveling friends were like, dude, we were worried. And I said, I was just out laughing at the donkey that was driving the Volkswagen up and down the causeway. There was a half a Volkswagen tied to a donkey going up and down the road. It was hilarious. There were like 10
That's
people.
how it happens.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
And the other place, the third place I was going to say was Arkansas.
And
If
what was
you've
the
been to
second
Arkansas,
place?
I haven't got there
Okay.
yet. If you've been to Arkansas or Arkadelphia and Gum Springs, you would agree that it is a different country.
All right, Gum Springs. Does that mean gums? Like granny gums?
GUMS Springs.
Okay.
Yeah. And then due to my job, I have traveled extensively in the Canadian Maritimes, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, which is its own province.
What do you do for a living?
What did I do? Exported eels to Europe.
very
That's
exciting.
next week's topic. And
That'll be next week when Bill's by himself.
Yeah.
It's a
Brunswick,
lot.
Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island,
Everybody
and
look at my
then,
eel.
and then Newfoundland, Labrador, and most of the time was spent in New Brunswick and in Newfoundland. And in Newfoundland, it was the Viking Trail. And if you ever get a chance to go to Newfoundland, you have to go to Grossmarn, Grosmarn National Park. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Or go to Bergia, because at the head of the trail it says no service next 120 kilometers. And there was a guy hitchhiking, and he looked like he had good weed. And so I stopped in my Freightliner and picked him up, and he crawled in, offered me a beer. I was like, no, I have to drive us there. He offered me weed. I said, no, I have to drive us there. He drank some beer, smoked some weed, went to sleep. When he woke up, I said, where are you from? And he said, well, I'm from Port Basque, which is where the ferries land. And by that I mean the ships that carry the cars.
Right.
And it's not Never Neverland. It's not Peter Pan. And he said, I'm just going to Bay Leaves for the weekend to party. It's a little fishing village, but the only way to get to it is to go inland and then down this road. And going down that road, it looks like the Scottish Highlands. There's actually bagpipers you'll see just on the side of the road, outside a restaurant, trying to draw people in. But I got to see a herd of probably 200 or 300 caribou stampeding across the
Tundra?
Probably the taiga. Yeah, the taiga, not the tundra. Get it right.
Did you shoot them?
Jeez.
No, but there were other people out shooting them.
Oh, good.
Because
good.
I almost rear-ended one of them as they were spotting them with binoculars from their pickup on the road.
Oh.
And I crested the hill. At that time, I was in my Volvo. Yeah.
For the
really,
safety.
Canada's cool. You can leave $10,000 cash in a cash box on the wheel of your truck for 3 or 4 hours, go into your hotel, and then go, oh yeah, I should go get that, and it's still there. Somebody brings it to you and goes, oh here, you forgot this.
Sorry.
You forgot all this cash.
Sorry we didn't
So,
bring it to you
good
earlier.
Lord.
To clarify, you've been to two of the countries in Epcot and Arkansas.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wait, Epcot counts?
No.
If you drink around the world,
I've been to all of
And
them.
Toronto is the cleanest city I've ever been in my life. I was mostly Eastern Canada.
Gotcha. All right, Will.
Actually, before that, can I go? Because my,
Yeah, go.
my list is way shorter. Because he just mentioned Toronto, and I agree with that. And then
Michael, you're up.
and then 10 states. That's about it.
Well, states don't count.
Yeah, I know.
We said countries.
I understand that. I
Unless,
know how this
unless
works.
apparently,
Unless it
unless
was-
one of them's Arkansas.
Unless you're the other
Pull
side.
down.
Well,
on
unless it's the
bottom.
Republic of Texas in the late 1800s.
Michael's
Well,
having trouble opening
he
the beer
wasn't
fridge.
there.
But there is an interesting story that I have about Toronto when I was there. There's this.
Oh, that was recently.
No, this was like 97.
Yeah, recently.
So the movie X-Men just came out
Uh-huh.
the week before I went to Toronto, and the girlfriend at the time, we went and we saw this castle. It's called Casa Loma, and while we're taking the tour of this castle, I'm just like, this is really familiar. It's where they filmed Xavier's Mansion for X-Men.
Oh, sweet.
I found out about that from one of the locals at this bar that we went to, which ironically was called the Tennessee in Toronto.
Okay.
And then, so fast forward a couple years, Scott Pilgrim comes out, and the part where, I forget which Chris it is, he goes down to skateboard on that very, very steep stairwell. That's a real thing. That wasn't CGI or anything. That stairwell actually does exist, which I thought was pretty interesting.
But are you sure you really skateboarded?
I
down
doubt he really skateboarded down it, but
Okay.
I mean,
So that might have been CGI.
yeah, that might have been CGI. But yeah, as far as travel goes, not a whole lot for me.
All right. Well, he had less than you.
I do believe, however, Bill actually also visited Niagara Falls, and I think he forgot to tell us about that.
Yeah, there were two funny things, I think, that were funny that happened to me in Canada at 2 different times. And one was
I believe it's pronounced Canada.
Canadian. Sorry. I'm
How
sorry. I
about that?
apologize. That's how they say it in
Also,
Belize.
you have to tell
Yeah.
the story in French when you're done because we don't want to be.
Fin de le voie des doigts. Right lane ends. But two things. One, the first time I went to Canada, I was loading Christmas trees into the back of a tractor trailer, and we had shot a bunch of them, and over our limit. And every time I would say something to the man that was helping us load it was his tree farm. Every time I'd say something to him, he'd look at me and go, "Eh?" and I'd repeat myself because I thought he was deaf. And I'm from West Virginia. I didn't know that Canadians said A. And since we tell dad jokes, the way they came up with the name Canada is they had a jar of letters and they went C-A. N-A-D-A. So it's in the title of the podcast.
It is.
So, going to Niagara Falls, my wife and I are with two other couples in a minivan because we were cool. And as we're going across the International Bridge, my wife is way in the back. My wife is way in the back of the van. We had taken the middle seat out, so most of the people were in the way back of the van. And I'm driving, and the Border Patrol guard from Canada asked me if I had any weapons. They didn't hear him ask me that. All they heard me say was, "No guns." And they were like, "Why would you volunteer to the Border Patrol guard? Hey, I ain't got no guns." And so, like, for the rest of the week that we were up there, everywhere we went, we would declare that we had no guns. All right, now,
Very nice.
All right.
we don't rehearse.
Paul?
Well, I've been very lucky to get to go quite a few places, but one fun story is my brother and I, with a bunch of other just out of high schoolers, through someone at our high school, put together this group of like 50 people. This is 1985. God, I'm old. And
Yes.
we went everywhere. We went all these places like in a month. We go to Europe and you go place for 2 days, and it was fantastic. And one of the guys on our trip, and I'll just call him Fred to protect the guilty. He nice guy, but wound a little tight. And he had, now remember, this is the no cell phone days. He had a very nice camera with a really nice zoom lens. It was like 24 to 120, and it was sizable. And we're in a museum, as
That's
you do.
big.
Yeah, it was sizable. And so we're in Florence, and we're in one of the museums in Florence. I forget the name of it, but it's the one that housed the David. And the David it's always hard to tell from pictures because you only see the statue, but the David's about 14 feet high, and it's on a pedestal, so it's just up there. And I'm standing back with my brother, and we're looking at it going, God, this is unbelievable. And lots of people are there, and there's a rope around the pedestal. And Fred has positioned himself right up against the rope, and I'm guessing he's probably taking a shot of the hands or the face, but he's got his camera with its long lens pointed right at the David. And I told my brother, I was like, Don, you got to do me a favor. He's like, I'm going to walk up and stand next to Fred. Just take a picture of the David and get me and Fred. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, no, just, you got to do it now. I'm like, okay. So I walk up there. So I have this fabulous photo of me and Fred looking at the David. And Fred appears to be zoomed in right on the David's crotch with his zoom lens that's, 3 times the size of the David's actual manhood. And I thought it was the funniest damn thing. It's like, sweet. I remember other things from that trip. That's the only thing I got out of a month in Europe. But that I just thought was really funny.
Is that the only time you've been to Europe?
No, actually, I got to study for a summer in London, which was remarkable.
We do need a list of countries.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I've been to, let's see. I've been to
Everywhere, man.
England. I've been to the English part of Ireland. I've been to Scotland. I've been to Switzerland and France and Italy and Greece and Israel and Egypt and Turkey, and Cyprus is part of Turkey now. or is it its own thing? I don't remember.
Turkish Cyprus and Greek Cyprus.
Okay, well,
Uh,
I honestly don't know what part I was in.
it's Dubai.
And then I've been to Toronto once. I've been to what is it? The other side of Canada,
Vancouver.
Vancouver,
British Columbia.
one time, very briefly, yes. And then I got to go to Moscow and St. Petersburg, and I was in Mexico for like 2 days once. And the Bahamas. But I think that's it. I've been pretty fortunate to get to travel lots of places.
But no Arkansas.
That was a lot of
I've not
ands.
been to Arkansas.
That's a lot of ands.
Thank you.
True,
Can
and
I
I
say
don't
this?
speak Belizean.
Well, they speak English. So.
Oh, and we're going. Yes, I
They
know
speak
that.
British Honduras.
Or just
so.
for the record, I know they don't speak Belizean in Belize. It was a joke about Casa de Playa,
Playa.
which means I think
Playa.
isn't it beach house? I think so.
Casa de
House
Playa.
of play.
Yeah.
Well,
beach house.
yeah,
It's beach
house.
Playa, yeah, that would be Tocas. But okay, go ahead. So yes, Will, you were going to say, sir.
I was going to say cucumbers give me gas.
And on that note,
Good to know.
what countries have you been to?
Okay, so I've been to Mexico, England, Germany, Taiwan.
Went to Thai.
You mean the
for a
Republic
thing.
of China?
Yeah,
Soon be.
Guatemala, and I think that's it. I haven't been to Canada yet, so.
So you actually didn't go to Belize.
Yeah, I've been to, and Belize. So,
I was gonna
that's the
say,
one I forgot. And I've been to Belize. So.
your mom lived there.
Yeah. They just wouldn't allow me in the country, so. Man, I don't know the best story. When I was in Taiwan, it was just crazy because it's a great country, and I went there. I was thinking, well, no one's going to understand me. Everybody speaks English. Everybody speaks English there, so it's crazy. I went to this one store, and I said thank you for when I was buying something, and these Taiwanese kids were making fun of me, like, oh, thank you. Look at me, I'm American. Howdy ho! Howdy! Thank you. It's like,
Funny.
really? Come on, guys.
Was it Hong Kong at the time or China?
No, Taiwan.
What?
Taiwan.
Oh shoot!
Separate.
Sorry, my bad.
I was in Kaohsiung.
And
Taiwan.
Hong Kong is still Hong Kong, just it was controlled by the British.
That's right, Taiwan.
Before
Yeah,
the
that's what I.
Chinese.
Yeah, we'll edit that.
We won't.
Yes,
No, we will keep that.
I'm
We will
gonna
keep that.
Gonna repeat that
All right.
twice.
So, my turn.
I wasn't done.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. He's got
we
more.
were, we were
No,
done.
I'm done now.
All right. So,
You did only get
Meow.
I have been to Germany. Actually lived there for
What part of
3 years. Lived in Ramstein in East Germany.
Southern Germany and outside Nuremberg.
And
Wait,
went to
Eastern Germany after the reunification of Germany.
no before.
Oh, really?
I was like 3 when I moved there.
Okay.
Did you cross the wall? Is that how you got out?
No, I was on the good side.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Russian side.
And
Wow. Okay.
no, my dad was in the Air Force.
Das Vidanya.
But while we were there,
Speaking German.
Sorry.
while we were there,
Yeah, come on.
we visited the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, I've been to Rotterdam. So I forgot about that one. Sorry.
We'll just let him
That's it,
slowly
that's it.
tell his tale as it comes to his mind at
Anyway,
random points in the night.
yeah. As we talk about more countries, just feel free to hype in that you've been there. Yeah. So one of the coolest things that I remember from my childhood when we were living in Germany, my dad did 6 weeks of TDY in Zaragoza, Spain, and there was no place for us to stay, so we set up a tent in a big campground and camped for 6 weeks
Oh my
in
gosh.
Zaragoza, Spain. I was 5 at the time. The people camping next to us were British, and I would wake up every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. My dad's at work, mom and sister are asleep, and I'd get up, I'd sneak out of the tent, go next door and have tea in the morning with the British couple next door.
It's like a scone.
And you still never got a Scotch egg until recently.
I still never got a Scotch egg until 2 weeks ago.
So Larry, what's TDY?
That's
Temporary duty.
temporary duty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have that.
Well,
I didn't
For
either.
those listening,
No. Yeah.
The Y stands for yokel.
When you're, yeah,
It's
when,
way better than an STD. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
But
When,
you
when,
can get STDs when you're TDY.
That's usually how they happen.
when you're in the military,
I don't speak German.
and when you're in the military, for my dad was an environmental specialist for F4s, and every once in a while, if they had a problem that they couldn't figure out in Italy or wherever, they would just go, "Hey, you're going there for a month," and he would go.
Question: What is an F4?
It's not like an FR.
It is a jet airplane.
Oh, okay. I didn't know when you said environmental. I didn't know if that was there was a rank because in the
No.
because aren't there E somethings in the
There
Navy?
are.
I'm sorry.
Enlisted.
There
There
are
are E4s.
yes.
They fly E-planes.
There
There are
are
also
E4s.
4Fs.
But
And they're not in the military.
The Dodge K
I
car.
apologize for interrupting.
That
Yeah.
was my first car.
Anyway,
Nice Reliance automobile.
so I've been to Italy. Let's see. Been to Mexico.
So
Been
can I ask you
to
this?
the
Are there-
United States.
Are there
You never went
Olive
to
Gardens in
China.
Italy?
I've never been to China. Huh?
Are there Olive Gardens in Italy?
No,
Okay.
or at least I didn't see any.
Would you have gone to one if you saw?
No. When
But they have all day breadsticks.
when I went to Italy the last time, it was me, one of my friends, my mom, and my sister or my daughter, and the rule that we made on the plane with my daughter, who was I think 8 at the time, was no American food, none. The entire time we're there, we're not going to McDonald's. We're not going. We're no American food.
In France.
And no,
Italy.
Italy.
Was an Olive Garden
Yeah.
Italian food?
Not if you're Italian.
Wow.
So for breakfast every morning, she had Slave Papa.
None of you've been there. No.
Well, in
I will
Taiwan,
tell
had
you.
egg rolls for
I will tell
breakfast,
you.
so-
Okay, the hotel we stayed at gave you breakfast in the morning. When you went in there, there was Italian bread rolls. There's salami. There's prosciutto. There's provolone. There's fruit. There's Nutella. There's all this stuff.
I'm so hungry.
And my daughter and I, much to the chagrin of everyone else except for the family that owned the hotel, who thought it was awesome, our favorite thing was we would take the rolls, cut them open, smear both sides with Nutella, pile it up with prosciutto and provolone, and
is like-
holy crap, it was
Some
delicious.
kind of
You
weird
kidding?
continental
It was
fluffer nutter.
delicious.
It's
It was
fantastic.
delicious.
There is no way I'd
Bastard
be able to go
sandwich.
sightseeing after that.
Oh no, that gave you energy. You got all that protein and
That gave
sugar.
something.
Give me energy to run to the
Propels me
bathroom.
around
Zoom.
Rome.
But also on our while in Italy, the places me and my buddy hung out were all English pubs. For
In
some
Italy?
reason, for some
That
reason.
makes sense.
It was in Rome. It was the Druid's Den. In Florence, it was Old Stove Sonora. I cannot remember the name of the one in Venice, which was the most American English pub, because the guy who owned it spent half the year in New York with his uncle, and as soon as he found out we were Americans, we were the coolest people ever.
Was it like the Spanish
And-
Trail?
I mean, Yanks.
It might have been.
Okay.
It might have been. So
Ye old Spanish
Um,
Trail.
let's see. Paul.
I just wanted to clarify. I have half my heritage is Italian, and just as if you opened a garbage company in New York City, in Italy, if you opened an Olive Garden, they would let you build it, and it
Will
would
they
be open
come?
for one day because overnight the mafia will burn it to the ground.
So if, in Italy, if Carrabba's and Olive Garden got into a fist fight, who would win?
Well,
They would both be.
it doesn't matter because
We all lose.
because the mafia would burn both to the ground.
All right.
Sorry, I just had to.
Chef Boyardee.
I just had to get that on the record.
Gotcha.
And now for what I'm pretty sure is going to be the longest part of this segment.
Yeah.
Trailus?
You need to stretch. You need to fill. All right. So, let me go by continent. Nothing in South America. North America, we've got Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Mexico, Costa Rica. And I'm obviously not counting anything that's like just a layover kind of thing on flights.
Right.
Even if I did maybe spend several hours outside the airport. Okay, so North America, South America, none. Asia, we have Japan, China, Malaysia, no Australia.
Was this all while you were working on the tugboat, or
No.
okay? Just checking.
Okay, so then
Tugboat.
It was
Europe-
when he was a male escort.
Africa, Morocco is the only African one. Europe, there's a bunch of them.
It was
Obviously,
5 years with Papillon in
Ing-
prison.
yeah. England, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, France, Italy, Germany, Belgium, Finland. I think that's about it. Yeah. So I will give you a choose your own adventure because I only want to tell one story. I've got the story of Morocco. I've got the story of Shanghai. I've got the story of the Black Forest in Germany. I think those are the three most compelling ones.
I would vote for Shanghai.
I-
That's
Of
what
course,
I was.
Shanghai.
That's what I was gonna say too.
That's actually the shortest one.
Well,
That's why we voted.
So this is when I was living in New York, and I was a major, hotel point and airline mile guy, just
I believe
playing
the word
all the
is
tricks.
whore.
Yeah. There were all kinds of tricks that you could do back then.
Yeah, you turned all the tricks for those
Yeah.
miles.
Absolutely.
Bill's met all the tricks.
So
Oh, Bill did the same thing.
Delta inaugurated some. It was shortly after they bought out Northwest, and Delta inaugurated a route to direct from Atlanta to Shanghai nonstop, and so they had this crazy sail,
How long of a flight?
16 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah, crazy sail, so not only was the ticket cheap, it also gave you 4 times bonus mileage for the fireworks.
good lord.
So by my calculations, simply putting my butt in that seat on that flight would give me enough miles to recoup the cost of the ticket plus have 4 free domestic round trips.
So they basically paid you to go.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and being in New York, it was simple to get a visa from the Chinese consulate. I could just walk to it. It was like at West 42nd Street or something. And, within 48 hours, I get my visa in there. And so I got that. I made reservations at Jean-Georges Vongerichten, the 3 Michelin-starred restaurant in Shanghai. And I flew there I left on a Friday after work. Basically got there, checked into a hotel, took a little nap, went to my dinner reservation, spent $800 on just me on a 12-course chef's degustation menu.
Wait,
with
like
wine
800
pairings.
American dollars?
Yep.
Oh, good
It's a
lord.
3 Michelin starred restaurant. In fact, actually, I need to back up. I made the reservation before I bought the plane ticket because I had to make sure that I could get it.
Right.
Then I go back to the hotel, crash, wake up the next morning, and I had my laptop with me. And this is back when AOL Instant Messenger still existed and all that. It was actually Trillian that I was using, but
Of course.
I had that thing on, and my friend Kevin, who lives in Chicago, he said, "Hey, what's a hip guy like you doing at home in New York on a Friday night, or on a Saturday night?" And I said, "Nursing a hangover in Shanghai on Sunday morning." So I get everything together, I go back to the airport, and I go back home.
So
I
you
was there
flew
for
to Shanghai for a
30-something
meal.
hours. Yep. I was there for
Wow.
about 30 hours total.
That's
Panda Express. In the
And then, of course, the actual
did-
miles that I got from the trip put me into platinum medallion status. And then I enjoyed the fruits of that labor
that is a rock star story.
for a
Did
while.
did everyone miss 12 courses?
No, with wine pairings on each one.
That's why you're nursing the hangover.
Hangover.
So we should talk about where would you like to go.
Actually,
There you
I
have
got another question for you, Travis. Since you've been to so many places, what was your favorite one?
You know how that. What did you call me?
Trillis.
Trestle.
You know how I hate those questions. I have no favorite anything. It's all mood dependent. It's all
That's
different.
It's all nostalgic.
Yeah. I can tell you the places that are not favorite. Morocco, Venice, Italy was a nightmare. But really, the Netherlands is kind of my stomping ground out. When I get to Europe, like that's my base of operations, and I love it there.
Okay.
And I've been there so many times.
I will agree that Venice
Yeah.
was I'm glad I went, but I don't have to go again.
Well, I got stuck. I got fucked by a goddamn transit strike while I was there.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Well,
There's no buses or
If you
anything
guys
like
learn
that.
to swim, I think next time it would go a lot better. No.
No. Just,
Well, the thing is, I
just
flew
get a
into
water
Bologna.
taxi.
Teasing. I'm just.
You
I
get
flew
a
into
water.
Bologna because it was much cheaper than Venice, and
Yeah.
I got stuck trying to get from
Oh.
Venice to Bologna, which would have been a 45-minute car
That is brutal.
ride, but there were no rental cars because all the Italians knew there was a strike coming.
Right.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Yeah. When we got to Venice, it was in April, and Venice.
was about that time.
Italy is about the same as Florida, as far as a little north, but so we figured, hey, it's going to be really nice weather.
It's cool at night.
Like
It
isn't
snowed.
Like
Yeah.
tonight.
It snowed.
Oh, yeah, you got a little bit
Now we get the water taxi from the airport to to main part of Venice, and it's snowing. So what do I have to do? Yeah, you guessed it. I got to go over and put my foot up on the bow, put my hands on my hips, as the snow's pelting me in the face.
I didn't get
It's like
that.
it was like hey, when am I ever going to get a chance to do this again?
Oh, absolutely.
So I had to do it. Yeah. So cool. That was actually a surprise. I did not expect Paul to be our winner tonight. But all right.
Winner.
What does he win?
No, he had the most.
The most countries?
Yeah.
No.
I think he.
I think
Yeah, I
I
think
think-
Trillis did.
Oh,
I think
no,
Trillis
no.
did.
Best story.
Everything's well.
He had
okay.
the most.
Well, if you count all the islands,
Well, the fact that I lived in Spain for a year, studied in the Netherlands for a summer, and then of course lived part time in the Cayman Islands for 20 years.
England.
We'll check it later.
But anyway, in terms of calendar
Okay,
of
okay.
actual days
So what-
outside of the
I'm
country,
gonna
I think I
okay.
probably
So we're gonna call it a tie.
well, what were you asking?
But
What?
our next, we're gonna go around in the same order,
Oh, shit.
and we are going to say, where would you like to go?
Okay.
That's
Oh, me?
no. We're gonna start. We're gonna go same order. So we're gonna
I
go Bill, Paul, Michael, Will, me,
Why's he have to
Trayless.
Z?
Or we could just do Will, like, just let him interstitially.
Well, he will.
Stream of
When
consciousness.
you go,
He
oh yeah,
will.
Yeah.
that place
Hey,
too.
He will.
Hey,
It's
Will,
okay.
Will, I love you, but
It's
if
in
you-
his name.
If you could avoid interstitialing me, I would
I
appreciate
did.
it.
I was interested.
No, no,
I'm sorry.
No,
I-
do,
yeah, it's
do not
gas.
avoid.
I understand.
It's
Well,
those
Do-
cucumbers.
yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
But you probably went to an Olive Garden in Italy.
Or on Ninth Avenue. So.
do not avoid it at all. Bill.
Two places. First and foremost, Australia. And I know you got to go for a long time because it's a long time to get there.
You don't have to, but just that over
But
stays.
you know, to fly to Australia for you know to
can
have
go
a
for a night.
kangaroo to have a kangaroo burger and then fly back. You know,
Really?
I just I'll have it sent by Tiger Express.
Well, you better get a Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah, yeah.
Kangaroo burger.
Yeah, and the second place, and we were actually before the the troubles, we were planning and looking into going to Ireland, and did not come to fruition. Still might, but
You got
there-
peeps there?
No, I don't.
That's not where your ancestry's from, or
England, almost everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. But there, I've been to a lot of states, but if I don't get to go to Australia and I don't get to go to Ireland, there is so much that I haven't seen. I've only been to Pritchard, 3 or 4 times.
I love that postcard too.
Yeah, it really takes 6 or 7 times to get the real feel of Pritchard.
it
Yeah,
does.
before you get shot.
Yeah, good lord.
All right, Paul.
Sure. So, there are places in Europe, but if someone said, "Where can you go?" that might be hard to get to. I'm not to be unoriginal, but I would love to go to Australia and New Zealand. I know they're different, but I'm gonna put them together. If I go to Australia, there's no way I'm not going to New Zealand and vice versa. But then the other one is I really want to go somewhere on the African continent, and the only problem is there a place I think it would be great to go to Congo if I had a Marine platoon with me, because there's plenty of people living life, and then there's these other people that do weird stuff. But I think if I was going to pick, I'd probably have to pick Kenya.
I was gonna say Kenya's much
Right, it's right, and then
Better.
and there's
tourism
South
wise.
Africa.
Yeah, well, in South Africa could be, and it's just that and I don't know enough about all of the distribution of wildlife, but there's so much that's flat and interesting in Kenya. I think Kenya.
Well, and Kenya's still a place where you can actually go and hire a guide and go out and camp
Indeed.
and see all kinds of cool stuff. A buddy of mine did that a few years ago and had an amazing
I
time.
think that would be amazing.
You can shoot kangaroos.
I don't really.
No, you
In
can't.
Kenya?
They don't have any.
That's what Bill wanted
sorry.
also.
I know. I know.
Sorry,
I
I was
know.
like,
The rare Kenyan kangaroo. The
Well-
only marsupial.
They're actually extinct now. Unfortunately, thanks to Bill.
Thanks to
And his kangaroo
and
burgers.
American dentists.
His kangaroo burgers. And Michael, where would you like to go? Number one, just one.
That's just it, because there's so many. Obviously, I've the least traveled, so there's so many.
But
But,
just first one that if
oh, I'm sorry.
if someone handed you a
Free airline
ticket to anywhere, where would it be?
Paradise.
On the beach.
No,
No, you need two of them.
Go on.
Well played, gentlemen. Well played.
okay. Honestly, very specifically, I would want to visit the Louvre.
So Paris.
Correct.
You need. If you need to, the Louvre is right there.
He said the Louvre.
Right at the
Oh.
Louvre.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
The
Sorry.
Louvre.
I got a Heidi is not interrupting tonight, so I'll interrupt for Heidi. Paul mentioned Africa, and I'll give shout out to Heidi. She has been to Africa, and I just forgot the name of the country, and it will come to me in a minute. But she went to Africa and actually, cinder block by cinder block, helped build a hospital, and then 2 years later went back and worked in the same hospital that she built.
Tasmania.
Not in Ivory Coast.
It was like Benin or Togo or something like
Togo, West
Yeah, it was
Africa.
in West
yeah.
African-
So I'll give props to Heidi for
No, that
building
is-
a
I was East
hospital
Coast, she was
for
West Coast.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
land.
Real quick,
Yeah, you interrupted mine.
do you know why there's no vampires in Africa?
No.
Because Toto blessed the rains.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Golf clap.
Me?
Someplace you haven't been.
Okay, so I can't do just one. New Zealand for sure, much more so than Australia, and there's a particular reason.
You want to go visit Hobbiton, don't you?
Yeah.
You say big
No.
Lord of the Rings fan.
It's the soaring, it's the glider flying in New Zealand. It's
Soaring.
amazing, and
that's what we said.
I would love to go to New Zealand and spend a bunch of time just flying gliders around.
Right, it's those updrafts from Mordor.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. The other is South America. I want to do so Chile, Argentina, Uruguay. I want to do all of that kind of as a couple of weeks, and then
Don't they?
coming up soon.
Don't they eat guinea pigs in
That's
Chile?
Peru.
Peru.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't mind eating a guinea pig.
What-
I didn't know guinea pigs were for eating.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to try it. It's all
And if you had chosen the Morocco story, I could have told you about eating dog.
Oh well, we're gonna have to hold that for
Table
another
Yeah, no, I don't.
dog
forget
on
it.
it.
for another segment. Well, we may come back to it.
Now that's going to be on the cuisine
right.
episode.
That dog don't
Hey,
hunt.
don't bark at me.
So I'm gonna make Bill and Paul feel bad. Because if I could go anywhere, visit anywhere right now, it would be Greece.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one. Very good. That is so we could see our friend.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
So we could go visit our friend, and also never been there. So, I was talking to a buddy of mine who was there for some work. We won't go into that.
You went to Greece
But,
for a thing.
Yeah, he went to Greece for a thing. But
Did he have his throw bar?
no, he had a mission when he got there, which was he was going to swim in 3 seas in one day,
Oh wow,
and he did.
that's pretty
Because
exciting.
and
The Aegean, the Mediterranean, and
the other one,
Black?
no, hold on,
Red? No, that's this
No.
country. So.
Always comes down to color with you, Will.
Well, you said black first. So.
well, black is a shade, not a color. Red's a color.
Man, look out!
Gotta teach you people. School.
I thought we weren't allowed to talk about
What?
colors.
De colores.
Oh, wait, he already. Oh wait, no,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was before we started recording. That he brought up that red was the best color for a race
That's-
car.
yeah, which is
So
So
obviously.
since you're going to Greece,
obviously
you
green.
do realize, the first French fries weren't made in France. They were fried in Greece.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Going
All
off
right.
the rails.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
So I'm gonna name 3. So I
Just to outdo
real
everyone.
fast.
Just to outdo everyone.
So you guys want to go to Australia and New Zealand. I want to go to Tasmania because no one goes to Tasmania. And I
Okay.
want to see a Tasmanian devil, which is just like a big rodent. But Easter Island is the second one because I want to see where these huge monuments they're there and no one knows how they got there,
Rapa
and they
Nui.
keep finding them.
Rapping it.
What's so fun?
You like the big head?
Yeah, the big head. And then back to Europe.
You know what
Because there's other countries in Europe I'd like to check out.
You know they named it.
Oh, and
named the first one.
You know, Europe's not a
Simple.
country. Just-
Well, I mean, the
No,
area,
you said there are
but
other countries.
other countries, and if you the guys that have been to Europe,
yeah.
the
Like
trains in
all of
Europe
us?
are awesome because
They are.
you don't have to drive anywhere.
That-
You can just hop on a train and you're there.
But-
And
When we went to Italy, that's what we did. We landed in Rome, spent a few days in Rome, took a train to Florence, spent a few days in Florence, took a train to Venice, spent a few days in Venice, flew out of Venice to Amsterdam, spent a few days in Amsterdam, doing things we will not discuss, although the cops told us exactly where to go to be cool. And,
Well, to be cool, you need to go to this coffee shop over
yeah,
here.
that's
No,
the
no,
kind of
no,
question.
no, no. You go. Hey, look, we got these these truffles that are gonna make us trip balls, and we're Americans. Where should we go to do these? And they go Fondle Park. Go down this way.
It's also conveniently
turn this
located
way,
next to a hospital.
and go that way. Just stay there till you're done.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Cool,
trains
thanks.
are awesome, and one of the best things I had, I was going from Rotterdam to Germany, and going through the countryside in the Netherlands where all the tulips were blooming.
oh yeah.
And you look right, you look left, and it's just tulips as long as you can see, and
Yep.
it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Now, I do have something on this train thing. This is a misconception that, you know, all you need is a train pass and you get to see all this cool shit. There is so much really cool shit in Europe that you need to get on a bus. Or in the Netherlands, buy a fucking bike from a junkie who's selling a stolen bike. and because
what
there's
about
so
my
many...
bike from Bill?
They're called feet
Same thing.
scopers. Yeah, yeah. It means bike sellers, and they'll ride around. They go feet to cope, and like he will literally just sell you the bike and then start walking again, and then like steal another bike. And
Because they're everywhere.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, there's so many really cool fucking out of the way places that no train line goes to.
Right.
For sure,
right.
and that's why I want
And
to go
that's-
back and see the out of the way place.
Yeah, when you get to like spend
Motorcycle
a
through
significant
Europe.
amount of time in one place, rather than trying to hit all these countries in one, which is one trip, which is a common American kind of
Well, when you got
My
when you
daughter,
got
bad,
a month.
bad approach.
but when you got a month.
yeah, yeah,
my daughter's
but spend
doing
a
that
week
in May.
at least in each
Well, she's doing Cuba
place,
right
and
now.
like can't create a central point and then go out like a little hub and spoke and yeah.
If I may, so briefly, because the train. I feel like what was the hyena? What was the animal that was called? In the back. Fantastic. So
Hyena.
so two things. The reason people
Tasmanian devil.
try to squeeze stuff in is it's expensive to go, and if you're not going by yourself or if you're going with your family, then just to get in there costs a lot of
I
money.
would
But
love to backpack through
right,
Europe.
and I took several trains. It was great, but the one time, and I left this one out. My wife gave a paper at a conference in Amsterdam,
My life.
and then my wife. And then what we decided is, well, we paid for the plane fare, so we're going to go to Aix-en-Provence, which is in the south of France. And we paid extra to go on the fast train. So we get on the fast train in Amsterdam. And we got nice, first class, whatever the heck it is. About 45 minutes outside of Amsterdam, our train slows to a crawl. And we're like, oh, I wonder what's going on. What's going on is the train has lost power. It takes us an hour to roll into Brussels. Now, when I say the train has lost power, it's the summer, and there's no air conditioning for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm not even exactly sure what people speak in Brussels, but we just start getting off the train.
Dutch
Brazilian.
and French.
Okay, right. Languages I don't speak.
Okay.
They
And
They
I don't-
also speak English.
And I don't know
Speak
where we're going.
Belizean.
But apparently, we just follow everybody, and they've set us up another train, the slow train, and we get on that. But now I'm sweating bullets, and we paid a bunch of money in the country where the language I don't speak, And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but we finally get there. And the reason we paid was so we could spend more time, but instead we don't. So the trains are great unless
They run out of
they're not running on time.
Unless they're not.
When you said your train came to a halt, I thought you were going to say it was because you looked out the front and Tom Cruise was laying across the windshield and a busted
And there was a helicopter
was in front
that just
of it.
barely missed his throat. Just barely missed his throat.
Well, hey, Larry, if you don't have a segue, is there a particular favorite place, real quick, that you've been to in the United States?
Where's that?
For me, my
And I don't
favorite.
mean the trail.
No, my favorite
That was
city.
mine.
My favorite city in the United States to visit is Chicago, by far. I love that city. The
Chicago
worst
is
city
underrated.
I have ever been to is Dayton, Ohio. it is the dirtiest city
Shout
I've
out
ever
to
been
Andy.
in. It is the dirtiest city I've ever been in my life. But Chicago.
Obviously, haven't been to Toledo.
I was
Chicago.
Or Milton.
Chicago. I love Chicago. I love just everything about it. I love it.
I'm still thinking.
Yes, Bill. Do you have one?
I would say two favorite places. One is a specific spot, and I'm going to say it wrong because I always get them mixed up. The old train station in Washington, D.C. I love Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Union
Union
Station.
Station?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the food court in Union Station is amazing.
somehow your destinations always involve food courts.
But Washington D.C. when we were trying to decide if we were going to leave this town and move somewhere, it was either back to Maine or Washington D.C. I love D.C. The Smithsonian, just you could spend days and days and days. The Library of Congress is amazing. You wouldn't think a library. It's amazing.
One of Michelle's best friends works there.
Yeah, the Marine Corps band on the waterfront, the Cherry Blossom Festival. I've got to see all those things as a kid. The second place, probably my favorite, was Estes Park. And I know why it was. Yeah, Estes Park and the
outside of Denver,
Rocky
right?
Mountain National Park is just. I mean, one side of it it's 75 and sunny, and the other side it's 32 degrees and snowing.
The
It's
Shining
just
was written there.
The
At the Stanley
Shining.
Hotel.
The outside of the hotel was filmed at Estes Park.
It's called
The
the
inside
Dumb
to
and
the,
Dumber, they
Oregon.
used the stair
The-
tower.
the-
Most of it was filmed in Wyoming. I
The
believe.
TV
No, Oregon.
version was filmed
But isn't it called
outside. The
Oregon?
Jack Nicholson version was actually in Portland, Oregon. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. Just the outside, the shots.
Just
the
the
pictures.
exterior, yeah.
in Portland, but
I can't remember
the
if it's
TV
Stanley and
miniseries was actually
Oh,
Estes
Overlook.
Park,
I
Stanley
guess it's
Hotel.
I know
I
Dumb and
didn't
Dumber. I
realize
believe.
it.
I believe. I'll look it up. We'll let you know. We'll do correction.
I'm smarter than that.
Was at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park the grand staircase there inside?
And with the orange and baby
Yeah.
blue tuxedos.
Paul?
Nice. I'll sneak one in here. Probably still my favorite big city in the world is Chicago. But if you and to visit, but
Oh yeah, I don't want to live there.
there you go. But then the other one, and of course, you got to have money. And I realize if you got money anywhere, it's good. But I really like Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
I just really like. And,
Las Vegas is fun.
Well, we used to visit. The reason mainly is because when when my siblings and I weren't living in South Florida, we would meet my dad and mom there on 4th of July or Thanksgiving or both, and we did that for like 10 or 15 years.
Vegas?
Yeah, and because my dad has no hobbies except he likes to gamble, and he also is lucky, so he doesn't stink at it. So he'd always go to Caesar's Palace, and so we'd go out there, and now the rooms are free, and then they were going to comp them the food. So we'd sit around the cafe, which is this giant thing, and we, all our meals would take 2.5 hours. We sit around, we eat, we talk, we play Keno, and so that was really cool. So,
Living like kings.
there you go. And it's not that I didn't like the gambling and the shows and stuff too, but that's part of it was that we just happened to be a place we would gather, and it would be really fun.
Yeah, Vegas is fun, and I don't gamble.
There you go.
And there's just
fun.
so much to do all the time.
Now, why do you say that Vegas requires a lot of money? Because I lived there for a year, and it's very easy to have a lot of fun in Vegas for very little money.
Well, if you're visiting, you still need to. You're right. You're right. It doesn't require a lot of money, but if you want to go and gamble, you're gonna have to bring some money to do
And
that
just
part.
Oh,
to
but
get there with a family.
But you
Nope.
go to the local
Really?
casinos,
Round
or you go to
trip's like
Boulder
still
Highway,
like $400
which is
bucks.
closer to like Nellis Air Force Base,
Yes,
and
they want
you
you
get
to
like
come.
dollar
Yeah,
roulette
and
and
if
things
if
like
you
that.
go during the week, rooms are like $40.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
Right.
stand corrected that less money required. Yes, but but it was.
To have a good time in New York City, you need to have
I
money.
you're right. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, no, and again, part of most of the time I've been there because someone was giving my dad hotel rooms,
Right.
so it was really cheap for me.
Right.
But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and also the shows are, they have the shows that you know about, but then even the shows that are a little bit under the radar are amazing.
Well,
Oh, like House of Blues and
also I
Mandalay
don't,
Bay.
I don't know if
Great
it's still
Tiger
there.
shows.
I don't know if it's still there when we were there. I don't remember which hotel it was. One of the hotels, their bar on the floor was completely done up as Quark's bar from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
That was the Hilton.
Yes.
Yeah, the Hilton had the Star Trek themed stuff.
Yes, it was awesome.
No, that's fantastic.
It was
Yeah.
super cool.
Oh.
But yeah, that's
Sleeping in the
that's a
same
great place. And like I said, even if you don't gamble, it's a great place.
Michael, before you give your one, because remember you're only allowed to give one.
I
Yeah, it's
cheated.
gonna be two
I
and
cheated
one.
twice.
It's gonna be
Sorry.
two good, one bad.
I forgot to mention Passadumkeag, Maine. It's right down the road from Mattawamkeag, Maine, which is next to Mattawamcook, just around the corner from the Passamaquoddy Loop.
Are you
Don't
just making
forget
it worse
about
now?
that.
Are you just drunk and making it work?
Not yet.
They know.
Okay.
They know who the strangers are in Maine.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Where's
right,
Milton?
Michael.
Can't get that from here.
I have two, which are gonna be really quick, and then one least favorite also. But Las Vegas, that's one of my favorites. I stayed in the Mandalay Bay, and that was for work. But the Mandalay Bay, the rooms that I had, both times I swear it was the same room, but it overlooked the strip, and it's way at the end. So at night it was just lit up, and it was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
My other favorite place is Traverse City, Michigan during the Cherry Festival. Absolutely.
Where?
Traverse City, Michigan. During the Cherry Festival. It's like they have it just as it's going into spring. The weather is just warming up,
Are you
and
talking cherry blossoms like DC?
cherry
Okay.
as in cherry trees, cherry festival.
Yeah,
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
see
no,
that.
no,
I didn't
no,
know
no.
if it
These
was
are
like
flower
harvesting
cherry
cherries.
blossoms, Japanese cherry blossoms.
Okay,
Sakura.
not that. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about actual the fruit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
not to mention, like you're walking down and like every place has cherry this, cherry that, and like it was just absolutely just fantastic. And plus it's just right on the lake, so it's just beautiful scenery all there.
And cherries are delicious.
Exactly.
The only problem with it is every year the band is always warned.
But you're allowed during the cherry festival.
I thought it would be hot cherry.
You're allowed to punch a youper.
Oh yeah.
No, he's your brother, Nick.
All those youpers.
If I may, I just want to give a shout out to Michael for actually throwing in some like solid Americana for because I'm not saying Las Vegas ain't Americana, but that place is different and that sounds awesome.
It absolutely is. And then my least favorite city that I've been to is probably Montgomery.
Can't really.
You said something about
He's not wrong.
You said something about
He's not
Dayton being
wrong,
the
yeah.
dirtiest. No, Montgomery has been the dirtiest place I've ever been.
It's the Tallahassee of Alabama.
Shots fired.
Tallahassee rocks.
Literally.
Oh wait, I was thinking Talladega. Talladega rocks.
right.
My worst would be Pittsburgh. Screw Pittsburgh.
I love Pittsburgh.
I've been to Pittsburgh for a weekend, and it's pretty cool, actually.
It's personal.
Yeah. Okay.
He hates
It's
their
personal.
football teams.
Okay.
All right, Trailus.
All right. So, New York. I mean, come on. Who the fuck? Why are we not mentioning that city? That's an amazing city.
Well, because I
It
haven't been
takes
there.
forever to figure out how to. You have to live there, basically.
Because
you
it's
cannot
Triton unoriginal.
visit.
I only
But
got
no,
to drive.
there's so much.
I only got to
Vegas.
drive trucks through there from Newark
But
to
there's so much cool
Chinatown. I didn't get to enjoy it. I was working.
Yeah, Trailers.
But-
They don't have a cherry festival, and they don't know how to make pizza.
But you know what they? Well, that is true. I agree. Or hot dogs.
or hot dogs.
Chicago
Man.
pizza and dogs both better than fucking New York.
We
and
just
I
lost half our audience.
no. When I lived there, I pissed so many people off. I'd be like, these dogs suck compared to Chicago. These pizzas suck.
Trailers. It's Triton unoriginal, unlike Las Vegas. I mean,
They don't have
The authenticity of Vegas.
They have tripe, not
Yeah.
tripe.
But one of the beautiful things about New York is it takes very little time to get up into the Hudson Valley, and that is such a beautiful area. Poughkeepsie and anything points north, so nice. Just wonderful little towns, townships,
Right?
all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah, just right outside the city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fish kill, Catskill.
there we go. Peekskill, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. Which is where? What TV show?
Peekskill?
The Office?
No.
No, that
No.
was
Petticoat
Scranton.
Junction.
Yeah.
Involving
Peekskill?
some orphans and Mrs. Garrett.
Oh.
Facts of life.
Facts of
That was
life.
Peekskill.
Goyles,
Oh.
Goyles.
My dad graduated
Well,
from
you take the
Peekskill
good, you
Mil-
take the bad.
Military Academy
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
before it closed down.
So he might know. He might have known some
So
of them.
yeah,
ladies.
I mean, I think really to talk about American
Special episode where
destinations,
Judy smoked weed. That very special episode.
you've got to make a distinction between metropolitan areas and then rural areas because it's so different.
It
And
is.
Americana.
I'm
and
with you, brother.
What
I'm with
what
you.
the rest of the world looks at the United States and goes, New York.
Yeah, and then you've got East Coast, West Coast stuff. Believe it or not, I like Los Angeles.
Kind of rub your
I have
fingers
found
together.
a lot of really cool shit to do in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It is not as what you think it is from
No.
TV and stuff.
Oh no, not at all. You'd be surprised how many TV shows you watch that are set in New York that are in Los Angeles or Atlanta.
or Canada.
Yeah, you find the In-N-Out
Canadian.
burger wrapper
Canadian.
on
Pensacola Wings of Gold
on the street.
And you had
Yeah.
mountains in the
the little
background.
continuity error.
So, Will, you haven't given us
like
your.
we live
But
here.
did Larry?
I thought
Yes.
Larry. Yeah, Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Chicago is really clean compared to
We're
like
not doing
New Orleans.
cleanest.
I'm just saying, I really like Chicago, but
Wow, I forgot about New Orleans.
my
Yeah.
favorite city is Pismo Beach, California.
Really? Okay.
Whereabouts would that be?
It's south of San Francisco and north of LA.
Okay.
It's right across the mountain into the wine country. So you go across the mountain or the hill or whatever. You got sunny.
Past Malibu.
Malibu
Yeah.
is
You
effectively
got sunny,
LA.
clear weather in the wine country, and then you go across the mountain, and you've got this foggy, gray otters in the water with the surfers, cliffs where you have to walk down like 300 steps to get to the beach. It's freaking awesome.
We all know why
Sounds
Will
awesome.
loves it. It's the
So-
otters and the surfers.
So as far as California is concerned, not so much here or here, but right here.
So,
If,
just south of
if we had a camera, that would be funny.
San Luis Obispo, which is also a nice little town.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where
Do you have
Cal-
a
Cal
least
Poly is,
favorite? A least favorite?
so- An east favorite?
Least.
So, east favorite would be like St. Simon's Island and Sea Island, but least favorite would be Milton.
I have one more that should
Sure.
be considered.
Yeah.
Is Philly. Philly is an East Coast
I've never been there.
big city, but it's a small town. It's very. It's something about it has a very small town kind of thing.
I know
Philly
it's always
could be-
sunny.
Philly is like Brooklyn.
It is
It's
always
just
sunny.
Brooklyn, in terms of its size and geography and
I'm not
vibe or whatever. But
not
it's
big on Philly so much, but you're so close to King of Prussia, Gettysburg, that area you can go visit, and there's so much
And the
history.
cheesecakes. There's cheesesteaks.
Yeah, well, they're
Cheesecake
better in
Factory.
New York.
The cheesecakes are better
The
in
Is
Philly.
it
cheese,
Brandywine
the
close to
cheesesteaks
there?
are better in New York
Yeah.
than they are in Philly.
Isn't Brandywine National Park close to there?
I don't know, but and you're not too far away from.
Yeah, the
Hershey
cheesecakes
Park.
at Junior's on Flatbush Avenue. That's the cheesecake in New York.
Cheesecake or cheese
Cheesecake.
Cake.
Yeah, there no cheesesteaks. You got
Cheesecake.
you got Geno's. I'm sorry, fucking Pat's. Geno's is the. This is the controversial statement of the night. Is Geno's is the better steak
This is
in
where we get
Philly.
like.
Wait, which
emails
Geno's?
saying, "Arr,
on
arr."
on fucking Passyunk Ave.
And by the way, that's the actual name of the street.
Yeah. Pat's is on one corner, Geno's is on the other. Pat's is the one that has the chopped steak. Geno's has the sliced steak, and it's so much better.
I gotta tell a story, and this is not meant. I know when somebody goes not to be racist.
Did you look around? Make sure.
Yeah, but for about 5 years, every Monday night at 8 o'clock, I left the Doyad in Passadumkeag, Maine, and headed to Newark, New Jersey, and then went through, and I get it wrong, Lincoln or Holland Tunnel to get up to
Either one will get you there.
Canal.
Oh, Holland goes to Canal Street.
Holland.
Yeah.
So come through the Holland Tunnel, go to Canal Street, and then go to Chinatown.
Yeah.
And when we would get to Chinatown, it was always at the beginning of the school day, so they had the police barricades and the roads were shut down because there were so many kids walking to school. So we would park the truck and we would go into this little restaurant called the Donut Hole. Shout out to the Donut Hole. And we'd go into this little restaurant called the Donut Hole. They didn't have donuts. But
This segment of the show brought to you by the Donut Hole.
But it was right between Little Italy and Chinatown. And one day we're sitting in there, and by the way, fastest breakfast you've ever gotten served you in your life. The person would come up and say, "Can I take your order?" And you'd say, "Yeah, I'd like 2 eggs over medium, bacon, hash. Thank you."
Yeah.
And it was sitting there in front of you. I'm not really exaggerating.
Right. Well, they only made one thing.
I'm sitting there, and it's like I said, it's between Little Italy, because I know I tore some banners down going down the wrong street during an Italian
The
festival.
Feast of Saint Bartholomew or
You're
some
arrested in
shit.
China for doing that.
Yeah.
so-
and no, I mean like pendant flags,
Well,
pennant
anything,
flags, and then Chinatown's right around the corner, and we're sitting there eating breakfast one
The
morning,
meatballs on the
and there are
corner.
these 2 women from Little Italy, and they're eating breakfast, and one looks up at the other and she goes, "Where did all these Chinese people come from?" I'm like, "Have
It's
you
like it
not
just
been
all of a
around the corner?"
It was like a gestalt moment for
It's
her.
a half a block. It's a half a block, and you're in Chinatown. Where did all these Chinese people come from? Oh my God, it was hilarious. That was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and I still remember what the lady looked like.
All right, guys.
All right.
So, time to wrap things up. Anyone got any final thoughts?
I like applesauce.
I like turtles.
What's that?
I like turtles.
Totals.
Turtles.
Oh, turtles.
Turtles.
Anybody else?
I like balloons.
Well, I like baklava. So,
I like eating applesauce and baklava while holding a balloon.
And petting a turtle.
I like filling balloons with applesauce and squirting them on my head while eating baklava.
We really need to wrap this up, don't we?
We do.
I'm afraid what Bill's gonna say.
You know, I laughed.
He laughed. He cried.
I laughed. I cried. It moved me, Bob.
Excellent.
All right,
Say
guys.
that's a saucy comment, but
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, insert laugh track.
We are the laugh track.
Yeah, we are. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for coming to hang out. We had a good time. Join us next week. hopefully we'll have everyone back, and hopefully Dave can be back, and we'll talk to you guys then.